Shawn Michaels gets his revenge on Sid, wins back the WWE Championship, and then loses his smile a few weeks later. What a great move by Vince. I'm John Renton with the retro review of WWE Royal Rumble 1997 in the Alamo Dome, and talking to a few people that I've known for a while, a few people that live in Texas. They were actually at this show, and they got really cheap tickets and were able to get some pretty close seats because Vince McMahon thought running a stadium show in the beginning of 97, before things really started to turn around, was a good idea, and it wasn't. They had to practically comp a whole lot of tickets with $5, $10, $15 tickets. I mean, that's saying something. When you're that desperate to fill a stadium, you shouldn't have fucking done that. You should have gone to a smaller arena that probably would have been even hotter, and maybe you wouldn't have heard a pin drop during a couple of the goddamn matches. And also, they made a lot of people work twice, and since they were in San Antonio, they had a lot of AAA talents working there. 3 dark matches with AAA talents, including a midgets match, or a minis match, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Heavy Metal worked twice on the goddamn show. I hope he got a fucking bonus. I just don't understand why they made so many people work twice. They had Goldust and Triple H work twice, Vader and Undertaker. Farouk and Ahmed Johnson, they pretty much were having some talent depth issues. So anyway, we get a high package for Shawn Wayne, his revenge on Sid, after Sid attacked Jose Lothario at Survivor Series 96. And JR, Vince, and Lawler on commentary. And then we get Goldust with Marlena versus Triple H with Mr. Hughes for the Intercontinental Championship. Goldust wanted revenge on Triple H for putting his hands on Marlena, him attacking her, attacking him, and basically just being an all-around dick. For some reason, Triple H having Ode to Joy, or part of Ode to Joy as his theme, will always make me laugh. It's a great goddamn song, by the way. JR pointing out how the referee could have called for a disqualification within the first few minutes. There were steps being used, a whole bunch of, really hard shots. This is basically a fucking brawl, like a street fight, no disqualification match. And the referee was like, well, I'm just going to fucking let this go. It's like referees now, where they just ignore everything. Or if you're going to be on Raw or NXT, have a street fight, but enforce legal tags for whatever fucking reason. Yes, I'm still upset about that. Also, this event, despite having some good moments, and especially some good moments in the Rumble, wasn't all that good. Because this just wasn't one of the better Rumbles. This is kind of like almost the Mania 8 of Royal Rumbles, where there were some good ingredients, but just some fucking misfires. Eventually we get a lot of ref distractions, and then Pedigree 1, 2, 3. So Triple H retains the Intercontinental Championship. We then get a Brett promo. I have always been a Mark man. Talking about, starting to turn a little bit bad here. I loved heel Bret in 1997. Not that you could tell I love Bret Hart at all. I mean, he's only my favorite wrestler of all goddamn time. But he cuts that promo. It's good stuff. Mankind kind of promo as well. And then we get PG-13, those stupid white guys rapping the Nation of Domination to the ring. Fucking hated those guys. I mean, not even as people. I don't know them as people. But just the goddamn gimmick is so fucking stupid. We get video packages for Farouk and Ahmed Johnson, including Farouk, aka Ron Simmons, calling Ahmed Johnson words that I'm not going to say here. But you listen to the video packages, you'll know what I'm fucking talking about. Ahmed Johnson looked like $1 million goddamn dollars. He looked great, and he sounded like he meant what he said. Even if you didn't understand whatever the fuck he said, I never understood any of his promos. Even at 14, 15, when I thought, oh man, this guy's kind of cool, no? Looking back on it, especially when you see him in WCW in late 99, early 2000, I mean, my God, he was so fucking bad. Really, really fucking bad. Actually, I don't think he showed up until WCW 2000, but still, he was fucking rotten. This is a messy brawl. Nation of Domination were out there. The Nation causes a DQ. And then Farouk gets one of the Nation of Domination members, does the Pearl River plunge off the steps through a table, and then Ahmed just falls on the guy because he was a fucking klutz and a goddamn injury-prone moron and loved injuring his opponents, or if he didn't love it, seemed like he did. It wasn't very good, at all. So, I mean, it was a downgrade from the Goldust Triple H match, which wasn't quite as good as their Mania 13 match, but still. Terry Funk promo, and then we get Farouk yelling at the Nation, saying, you're always going to back me up no matter what. Don't ever abandon me. Don't know who the two people were that he pulled up, though. So, anyway, we get Undertaker versus Vader, and Paul Bearer joins Vader eventually. And this was actually pretty good, big men smashing into each other. Undertaker must have been upset being in San Antonio, looking out the crowd and wondering why the wall wasn't built, years before the wall was even goddamn talked about. And yeah, I'm still going to knock Undertaker for that. One of the greatest gimmicks of all time, and certainly a legit tough bastard and a piece of goddamn shit. as far as a person, that is. Anyway, yeah, Undertaker and Vader had some good back and forth here, good big man stuff. Bear comes down, eventually hitting Undertaker in the back of the head with the urn. Vader bomb, 1, 2, 3. Undertaker upset. How'd you not see that? Choke slam to the ref. And we're getting a more vicious Undertaker. And then we get the AAA match, one of many, but actually this is the only one on the main card. Connect, Hector Garza, Paraguayo versus Forza Guerrera. Forza Guerrera, fuck it, I'm not even going to bother. Heavy Metal, Jerry Estrada. I apologize for screwing up any of these names. No disrespect to any of these talents. Hector Garza, real shame what happened to him. Real shame. No one cared. Really, no one cared. And that's sad because there was some talent here. You could hear a pin drop in this fucking thing. That's probably because the vast majority of the crowd wasn't familiar. And according to a few people I know that were at the show, they said sometimes you could hear the crowd, and then other times because of how the dome was built, it just didn't quite work. The sound wasn't bouncing correctly. The acoustics weren't all that great, but this wasn't good, partly because nobody cared. Like, the work was okay, but this would have worked a lot better in a AAA show. It did not translate to WWE television or pay-per-view. Sort of missed stomp and then elbow, 1, 2, 3. Crowd cheered because thank fuck this match is over, they were thinking. 30-man Royal Rumble match. Number 1 was Crush. Number 2 was Ahmed Johnson. Great. We are starting off with Bryan Adams, who got progressively worse as his career went on. See his work as Chronic, or one half of Chronic as a perfect example. And then Ahmed Johnson, who, as I said before, couldn't fucking work to save his goddamn life. They had clock issues early on, so you couldn't, see the clock. You couldn't count down with the clock, like, oh, and the crowd was booing that. We get Fake Razor out at number 3, and he's tossed out within 17 seconds. We get Phineas, Godwin. We get Phineas at number 4. I know what we're going to do today. We're going to last in the Rumble for a little bit and then get eliminated by Austin. Ahmed then eliminates himself early, chasing after Farouk, just jumping over the top rope because Ahmed Johnson was a fucking idiot. And then Phineas and the future Brawl for All winner Bart Gunn get eliminated by Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was number 5. He lasted 47 minutes despite being eliminated. Refs didn't see it. He eliminated a total of 10 people. That's pretty goddamn good. I think that was the record until Kane broke it just a little bit later in 2001, which I will retro-review that at some point. Got plenty of time now between now and the and the 2021 Rumble. Thank fuck we're out of 2020 is all I'm going to say. Now we get Jake at number 7. He's out in 70 seconds. Bulldog at number 8. Piroth at number 9. He was one of the AAA guys. Sultan at number 10, doing it for The Rock, for the people. Owen tosses Bulldog out in about 8 minutes, accidentally. Mil Mascaras comes in and no-sells everything. Pretends to be fucking shocked. The man had been wrestling since 1963, so 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I think he even wrestled into the last decade, 2010s, in his, 60s, so, and 60s/70s, so definitely wasn't what he was, but yeah, no selling everything. He even ends up eliminating himself a little bit later. Mark Merrow comes in at number 16. Sable at ringside. Sable never belonging in wrestling. I don't fucking care. I'm glad her and Brock have kids and they're happy together. Sable is a fucking embarrassment to professional wrestling. Savio Vega at number 19. Jesse James at number 20. But both are gone quick. This match did not matter to the future Road Dogg because he's a fucking goddamn idiot as well. And Brett, I did like parts of this Rumble, believe it or not. By the way, earlier, Ahmed Johnson came out and attacked Farouk and laid his thick wood all over the back of Ahmed Johnson laying his thick wood all over his own back. Out. That's flexibility. Beating Farouk up and I don't know why he had a giant 2x4. Did he steal it from Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Did Jim Duggan say, hey, I haven't carved this down, so just take this giant piece of wood out there? Duggan was in WCW, so he probably wouldn't have done anything. But it was just very, very odd that he suddenly showed up with the wood just on pay-per-view. Anyway, we get Brett at number 21. Austin's reaction was fucking priceless. This is where things picked up because Austin eliminated a bunch of people, him and Brett renewing their rivalry that had seemingly peaked at Survivor Series 96, even though you knew that it was going to continue. And then we get Jerry Lawler at number 22 and out in 4 seconds, getting caught up in the ropes just like his son 20 years later. Diesel, Fake Diesel, aka the Future Kane, coming in at 23, Terry Funk at 24, Rocky Maivia at 25, getting booed because Rocky Maivia was not what they wanted, even though they recognized his great talent. Mankind at 26, he fights with Terry Funk. Flash Funk in at 27. Way too many Funks in this goddamn thing, and it was an iceberg reaction from the crowd. It was almost too cold. Man, I really should be adding a laugh track there because I think I'm the only one that should be fucking laughing at that stupid joke. Vader at 28. Henry O. Godwin at 29, hogging the spotlight, if you will. Taker at number 30. And the lights go out during Undertaker's, walk to the ring, and Jerry Lawler said one funny line, that's how they should have done the whole Royal Rumble. Funk and Mankind end up eliminating each other. Well, Funk gets eliminated and Mankind gets eliminated by Taker, but he starts tangling with Funk. Brett tosses Austin out, but the referees are distracted trying to separate Mankind and Terry Funk, despite the fact they're out of the match, so they shouldn't have fucking cared. And Austin gets back in, basically tosses almost everybody out, remain in the ring, wins. Brett is furious. And that builds towards what was going to be Brett versus Shawn for the title. And then Shawn lost his smile, because Shawn's a fucking coward. And then Shawn battling the flu, apparently. And that can't be easy. Battling the flu is certainly no goddamn joke. Shawn Michaels with Jose Lothario versus Sid for the WWE Championship. Big reaction for Shawn in San Antonio with a long entrance through the hallway, through everything. It put Goldberg's entrance to shame, even though Goldberg wouldn't debut for another number of months. And then this wasn't exactly great because Shawn just got his revenge. Sid attacked Jose and his son, I assume. I was a little bit confused by that. Kicks at Pat Patterson. That's for the Ring Boys. That's for what Pat did to the Ring Boys, allegedly. And then the ref bumps camera to Sid. No ref. Just a 2 count when the ref comes to. Sweet chin music for 3. Then Shawn lost his smile, and that's basically it. And yeah, this wasn't a very good. It wasn't a very good Rumble. It really wasn't a very good Rumble event. 98 would get better. I will be retro reviewing some other Rumbles. You can let me know which ones you want me to retro review in the comments. Make sure that they're from 2009 or before, just because that way you know it's old enough. But let me know what you guys thought of this Rumble in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.